Good news, everyone! Get those hiking boots on and come along with us for a story today. We're going to tell you why we recommend Kanban over Waterfall or Scrum for analytics teams. Let's start with some basics. Waterfall is a traditional project management approach where you plan out months or even years in advance. Scrum is a common agile method that relies on estimation and 2-week intervals called sprints. Both of these methods rely heavily on large meetings, and we all know how we love meetings. On the other hand, Kanban puts priority first and minimizes work in progress. It takes time estimation out of the equation altogether, and it reduces your meetings. Winning. When we think about all the planning that goes into methods like Waterfall and Scrum, that fixed estimation mindset in reality doesn't truly align with the fluidity of machine learning model development. Let's imagine that we have a series of 4 hills that we have to climb. This is why you needed your hiking boots. That first hill is data prep. Then you have model development, followed by model refinement, and finally deployment. In a Scrum approach, we're seeing all those hills as roughly the same size. In a Waterfall approach, there's a sign in front of each hill that tells you exactly when you have to climb it. But in reality, all those hills are unique. You rarely see the same one twice. It's time for our first hill, data prep. Let's say you see that first hill. It's a nice sunny day in the park. Small hill, easy to jog over. Conditions are in your favor. We've made it over that first hill. And as we head into model development, our second hill, we start to see that the conditions are changing a little. The sun went behind the clouds. There might be a little thunderstorm brewing in the sky. Maybe even some lightning in our path. And we start to see that this hill is transforming into a large monstrosity, sheer granite in front of us, vertically straight up. We might need some equipment. We might need some other people to help us even. If we had tried to plan with this using Waterfall or Scrum, we wouldn't have known this was coming. We would have thought the second hill might be the same as the first. Sunny day, nice little jog over a small hill, and then we have to spend time adjusting and replanning. As we climb over the second hill, thunderstorms above us, soaking wet from the rain, it took us 10 times longer than it did to climb that first hill. This is a very common reality. You see it all the time. Since we're using Kanban to climb this hill of model development instead of Scrum or Waterfall, we just keep climbing and we take what comes at us as it comes. Now that we've scaled that mess of a hill, we're looking towards the next hill, model refinement, and the hike down looks pretty long, but rather reasonable. But then, a smile grows across your face as you realize your model was pretty good. You might not even need model refinement. And what do you see? A zip line taking you to the next hill. And that zip line's gonna glide you all the way to the next hill. But if we were using Scrum or Waterfall, we would have finished ahead of schedule. And what happens then? More replanning. Yay! So here we are at the 4th hill, deployment. And as you look ahead of you, you start to realize this 4th hill is completely unclimbable. So what do? You summon your helicopter and prepare to fly over. You're gonna have to rely on something or someone else to get you there. You might not have any control over when and how things happen. How can we rely on estimation-based planning, like in Waterfall and Scrum, if we can't even see past the second hill? How do we even do that when we have no idea ahead of time how long each piece is gonna take? We're not mind readers. We don't have a magic 8-ball in our desk. Scrum works well when you know the tasks involved and they're well-defined, like in traditional software development. In machine learning, you have a lot more variables, like data prep and model development, and you don't always know what's going to be thrown in your path. In a Scrum approach, we might not always know where those 2-week intervals or those 2-week sprints are going to hit. It might happen at the beginning of a climb, might happen mid-climb. You might even come up against some thunderstorms, and these might show up for you as outages, team turnover, or maybe even your data is corrupted. This becomes a problem when you try to predict throughput and delivery dates. So what we've seen is with these estimation-based approaches, we spend all this time planning and replanning and not just climbing the damn hill. It's the difference between sitting there and just doing busy work and actually delivering things. We like to say, Estimations are lies. Now let's say we've wised up and we're using our Kanban approach. The focus here is on the current hill, what's in front of us at any point in time. When we get to the top of that first hill, we're then going to think about tackling the next hill. What do these hills teach us? Machine learning work can be highly unpredictable. Something we think might take an hour might actually take 2 weeks. Something that we think might take 2 weeks might take a day. What we need to do is focus on priority instead of time estimation. This is why we think Kanban is a better approach for data teams. With this approach, you don't constantly spend time replanning. What do you use with your teams? We'd love to hear it. Share your thoughts below. What's your go-to method? What challenges have you faced? Thanks for joining us to learn about these hills and the Kanban approach. Happy climbing, and here's some more videos for you to take a look at.